Here's how we're going to view our images and make contact sheets for Photo 110. The first step is to make sure you have somewhere to store your data for the class. You're going to want to use an external hard drive or a large USB drive. I'm going to work on the desktop just for demonstration. But if you work on the desktop in the Photo Lab, you will lose all of your data every time you log out of the computer. So to start with, I'm going to create a new folder for the class. The easiest way to make a folder is by holding the Shift and Command key and pressing N. I'll call my folder Photo 110. You can open that folder. And then next, I'm going to make a subfolder so that I can store the work for my first assignment. So again, Shift, Command, N. And I'll call mine Positive Negative Raw. You can use whatever filing system or names work for you. If you open that folder, it will be empty. The next step is to copy your photographs from your SD card into this folder. If you haven't already, you want to put your SD card into the slot on the back of the computer, and then open it up just like any other folder. Often inside of the drive, you'll have one or two subfolders. If you click on the folder, and sometimes you'll have to go through one other step, you'll find your files. I'm going to select all of them. Again, you can use either the mouse or you can just hold down Command and press the A button. You're going to want to copy all of those into your folder. While that's working, you can launch Bridge. Bridge is the software that we're going to use to view photographs and to make contact sheets. Once it's done, you can close the folder if you like. You don't really need it open. It's a good idea to make sure all of your files are there, and then close it. Bridge can be found on the toolbar at the bottom of the screen. It's the BR icon. And when you open up Bridge, if it's not selected already, you'll want to make sure that you're on the Essentials tab at the top of the window. You can use the icons along the top and the left to navigate to your photographs. And once you find the folder, all of the images should show up in this window. You'll notice that they're in color. As we talked about last week, raw files are always colored because they contain all of the data that your camera sensor could capture. But we're going to be working in black and white for this class. So there's a very easy way to convert your files. You're going to want to select all of the images. You can do this with the mouse. You can hold down the Shift key and select them. Or of course, you can use Command A to select them all very quickly. And then you want to launch them into Camera Raw. There's two ways to do that. If you go to the File menu and open in Camera Raw, or you can just click on this circular aperture icon in the top toolbar. Once you're in Camera Raw, again, you want to make sure all of your images are selected. The easiest way is to just use Command A. And then over in the right menu, towards the top, there's an option called Treatment. You want to select black and white. Once that's done, you should see all your images change to black and white. And then you want to click Done. It's very important to click Done. If you click Cancel, none of your changes will take effect. And if you click Open Images, the software will try to open every single photograph in Photoshop all at once, which, if you have 72 photographs, could be slow or possibly even crash the computer. So again, I'll click Done. And you should see your images changing to black and white. It could take a couple moments. This is a good time to point out that Bridge is a great way to view your photographs. If you click on an image, you can see what's called metadata. And the metadata is data that's attached to your image that's actually not the image data itself. So you have things like your exposure, you can see the aperture here, and the shutter speed, and the ISO. You have the option to do things like add captions, which I've already done. These are old photographs. And if you go down even more, you can see some of the camera data. You can see the camera exposure mode, which is manual. You can see the focal length, and so on. If you want to get a better look at your image, if you select an image and press the space bar, it'll pull up a full screen view, which is a great way to look at the composition and to look and see if the image is sharply focused. You can use the arrow keys to navigate through all of your images. When you're editing your photographs, when you're choosing which photographs to print for your project, I do encourage you at least go through all of them quickly, one by one, because the contact sheets are valuable for editing, but looking at them large is valuable as well. But right now we're going to make contact sheets. A contact sheet is one print, one page with a bunch of small images on it. And that's also a good tool to use for editing. So you're going to want to click on the Output tab at the top of the window, and you'll come up with a blank canvas. On the right side, under the Output settings, we're going to change some of these settings. Where it says Template, you're going to want to switch to Custom. And then under the Document tab, which is usually open by default, but if not, you just click on it. You want to change the page size to letter, which gives you 8.5 by 11, which is the size of the paper that you have purchased. You want to make sure that Include File Name and Include File Extension are both checked. This will make it easier to keep track of your photographs later. And you might want to change the font size to a smaller size. This will just make it less cluttered and easier to look at your photographs without the distraction of the larger text. Next, you'll want to go into the Grid and Margins tab. And you want to set this to 4 columns by 6 rows. This will give you 24 images per page, and therefore when you do your assignments and have 72 photographs, you'll end up with 3 pages. Once you've made all of those selections, all of those changes, you want to make sure all of your photographs are selected. Again, the easiest way is Command A on the keyboard. And then just drag all of the images up onto the canvas and release them. I only had 24 images, so the program made 1 page or 1 contact sheet. But if you have more, it will take as many pages as it needs to use all of your images. This would be a good time to point out that if you have a few more or a few less images than 72, that's fine. But if you have a few more, you might not want to print or waste a whole sheet of paper on 3 or 4 more images. So you might want to edit them down, maybe choose a couple to exclude, but that's totally up to you. So this is complete, And now all you need to do is click on the Export to PDF button. Name it as you like. And make sure you save it to your folder that you created earlier. Most people like to save their contact sheets separate from the raw folder. It's up to you if you make a new folder just for contact sheets or just store it in your Photo 110 folder, but whatever works for you is fine. At this point, you're done with Bridge, unless you wanted to go back. If you do want to go back and look at your images large again, just click on the Essentials tab. And remember, the spacebar pulls up the full screen view. But if not, you can quit. And there's a good chance that the computer opened your contact sheet in Preview. But if it didn't, just navigate to your folder, and you should see the PDF. And either double click on it or drag it into the preview icon at the bottom of the screen. And that's it, you're done.